Hi, Paul. Welcome to the Real People podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Just to kind of give you a little insight of what we're going to kind of do today, I'm going to ask you kind of a few questions about your life. Go through a few topics, go through a few things, just to understand you and learn you a bit more about your life and how you think it's gone. But also, understand, happy moments, sad moments, your passions, regrets, things for the future, just to get kind of an insight of your life. But kind of before I ask any questions, can you quickly just say your name, tell me where you're from, and tell me just a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Paul Dawson. I'm from Manchester now, I suppose.
Okay.
But I was born in Norwich.
Oh, okay.
And then I grew up in Kent and then in Leicester. And I moved to Manchester 44 years ago.
Okay, so you've been here a while.
Took to work at the university.
Nice.
So I spent more time in Manchester than all the other places I've been put together.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think people born in Manchester would think I was a Mancunian.
Before we get on to kind of Manchester, the other places, so you said it was Norwich, Kent and Leicester.
I moved from Norwich when I was about 3, so I don't remember anything at all about it.
Yeah.
From 3 until I was about 10 or 11, we lived near Orpington.
Okay, nice.
In Kent. And then my parents got divorced, and we moved up to Leicester and stayed with my mother's aunt for a while. And then my mother started a sort of haberdashery shop in Leicester, which I don't think did very well.
It was a what shop, sorry?
It was a haberdashery.
What is that, sorry?
Sold clothes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my mother went to work for Dunlop.
Okay, nice. So you moved to Leicester when you were 11, and that was because of your parents' divorce?
Yeah. That's where... So I grew up in Leicester really from the age of about 10 or 11 until 18 or 19 or so when I left.
What was that move like from Kent to Leicester? Because I know Kent's obviously down south, and then...
Yeah, I remember we couldn't take our cat, which was a great... very sorry about that. We acquired 2 more cats.
Okay, 2 more cats, yeah.
So I don't remember a lot in detail about what it was like to move. But
what were your memories of Leicester like? Were they kind of good memories, or...?
A dullish sort of place.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it's better now. But then I think, back in those days, everything in the country shut at 5:30. So
yeah, not much to do.
Yeah. Things are very different now. I mean, now you've got 24-hour shopping. Shops open at 6 in the morning. Go on until 8 or 9 at night, and say some of them don't close at all. Leicester seemed a sleepy sort of place.
And your childhood, so obviously being in Kent and then Leicester, what kind of things were you doing as a kid? Did you have some hobbies, or...?
I collected stamps, don't all kids. I've always read a lot. That's really been what how I occupy most of my time, reading and accumulating knowledge.
And those first books then, when you were a kid, do you ever remember kind of certain books that were kind of really big impacts on you, or do you remember a book just from your childhood that was the book that you loved reading the most?
I was very keen on the works of W.E. Johns, Captain W.E. Johns, who wrote the Biggles books. I was mortally afraid that I would have read all of his books and there wouldn't be any more. I was going to
space them out.
Run out. Yeah. But he kept on turning them out. Biggles starts out flying Sopwith Camels in the First World War, and he's still flying in the jet age. So an amazing career. I remember those. And also I was introduced to some of the classics, like The Pilgrim's Progress, Gulliver's Travels, and so on. probably a bit culturally a cut above the Biggles books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had your parents' divorce at 10, 11, did you say?
Yeah.
What was that like? Because I know divorce now is more of a common thing, but back then it wasn't as common.
No, it was something that I wasn't particularly keen that people at school would know about, mainly because school kids, they'll use anything against you.
Yeah, anything can be a vulnerability.
Yeah. I think it was harder on my sister. She was really closer to my father, and my sister and I, we went with my mother. My father started another family, so I don't think he really wanted remnants of the old one around. It was very difficult for my mother. I mean, she brought us up and did a very good job. It was very supportive, and but I was lucky because this was the period when, if you were smart and worked hard, you could go to university, which I did, and get a kind of step on the career ladder.
Yeah, move forward.
Now, where you don't get a grant and you have to pay fees.
Expensive.
I think twice about going to university. But
Yeah.
this was the period when there was a lot more opportunity. I guess you'd say that my family was lower middle class. So my mother had respect for education, respect for knowledge, and so on. Yeah.
And then when you moved to Leicester, did you and your sister, did you keep in touch with your father, or kind of just?
My sister did.
Yeah.
I guess I resented him more.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking recently about my childhood when he was still around, and I don't think he liked me very much.
Okay. Why did you think that?
I mean, apparently, from all I can hear, his second family was much more successful.
Okay.
But I think they were all daughters.
Yeah.
And he seemed to get on with
girls better.
I think that with a male child, there were psychological complexities and so on that at the time, of course, I had no idea of. Yeah. And that he certainly wasn't capable of dealing with. So I think he resented me. The fact that I did so well at school, that I was clever. Yeah. I don't think he was very clever. Okay. So that kind of
bit of a jealous factor, maybe.
Yeah, and he wanted me to be more masculine. You know, good at sports, that kind of thing. Yeah.
But you chose kind of the more education route, which was your reading.
Right. I mean, sports is something I've never really
got into.
had much time for. I wasn't good at them. I've really very poor coordination. Yeah. I mean, don't expect me to catch anything.
Don't worry, I won't be throwing at you anything in the podcast.
So, yeah, I mean, I played to my strengths, which were scholarly, academic.
Yeah, definitely. Good strengths to have.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, they've served me well. Yeah. Yeah. If I'd been a brilliant footballer, then I'd hoped, I'd hoped to play for Manchester United. As it was, I was happy to play for Manchester University.
Yeah. Okay, so then, so you went to Leicester. Were you and your sister, were you close when you were kids growing up?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
we were really close.
I mean, we squabbled a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Brothers and sisters.
You ever watched The Simpsons?
I have watched The Simpsons.
It was Bart and Lisa.
Yeah.
But then when I was just finishing school and about to go up to university, my mother moved to Spain.
Okay, wow.
Partly on medical advice. She'd been told that she would live longer in a warmer climate. Yeah. And in fact, she did. She lived another, went in 1970. Lived about another 40 years. Okay. So, it was. And my sister went with her.
What was the age gap between you and your sister?
She was 3 is it 3 years younger than me? Yeah, 3 years
younger.
3 years younger.
Okay, so they moved to Spain, and then you went to university.
I went to university.
So
yeah.
so post Leicester, they've gone to Spain because of the health. Also a good move, I guess, to be in the sun.
Yeah.
But you've gone to university, and where did you go to university?
Cambridge.
Okay, Cambridge. Wow.
Yeah.
And what did you study?
English.
Okay. And what?
Yeah.
So that was. So you've moved around a lot, and then you've ended up in Cambridge. What was kind of the move to university like?
That was. I mean, I enjoyed university. Looking back, I realised that I wasn't really in the swim, in the social thing and so on.
Yeah.
There was still a lot of snobbery in Cambridge
I can
that
imagine.
I really wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Because I didn't try to mix with
A bit of an eye opener.
the inset. I was just thought it was great. It was a place that's full of bookshops, great libraries,
Yeah.
interesting people to talk to, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I enjoyed my university years.
And I guess now, because you're doing English, you get to do something solely that you love and
Yeah.
have a passion for, which you can focus on.
And also, I decided that that's what I wanted to do as a career. I
Yeah.
wanted to teach in a university.
Mm-hmm.
So when I finished my first degree, I then started research
Mm-hmm.
and did that for 3 years. Got a grant for that again.
Mm-hmm.
So the government was very generous
So,
back then. And then, of course, there was no family home for me to go back to.
Yeah, so you had to keep
I
moving forward.
I went to Spain a lot for holidays and so on,
Mhm.
but I had to decide what to do next. And that's when I got a job at a place called Padworth College,
Okay.
which is it's near Reading in
Okay,
Berkshire.
down south.
It was a girls' school, girls who were preparing for A-levels,
Mm-hmm.
and also foreign students who were learning English.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. We weren't paid very much, but we had board and lodging.
Mm-hmm.
And
So that's something.
yeah, I had as well as weekends. I had a day off a week, so I had time to continue my research.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very strange. I think Padworth College is probably a lot better organised now than it
Mhm.
was when I was there, but it was a bit not quite St Trinian's, but yeah,
Yeah.
as I say, it wouldn't pass an Ofsted inspection.
Back to when you kind of moved to Cambridge and your sister and your mum have moved to Spain. Did you, because obviously you kind of, dad's been out of the picture now, your other family's now in Spain. How was that in terms of kind of feeling on your own? Was it something that you kind of didn't think about it, or did you kind of a bit lonely without your kind of family support?
Yeah, I just kind of realised that now I was sort of on my own, independent.
Yeah.
Had to look after myself.
Because some people, I guess, when they go to university, because they've not had that independence before, they really enjoy it and they really have it. But some people, I guess, sometimes they kind of miss that home comfort. Which way did you kind of go? Did you kind of go from strength to strength, or was it a bit, kind of?
I just kind of realised I had to get on with things.
Yeah.
Had to learn how to do some basic cooking and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I hear about men who they can't boil an egg.
Yeah.
And you think, well, you've missed something if you don't have that basic. Or people now, of course, who live with their parents until their 30s,
Mm-hmm.
because they can't afford to rent anywhere or buy their own property.
And in terms, because you said you were a teacher as well post your kind of university career. One thing that I kind of really wanted to talk to you about was kind of modern, kind of not just in teaching, but in different aspects of kind of modern society to old society. But I guess we could start with teaching. How was teaching for when you were at university, and how are your lecturers different to when maybe recently when you've been a teacher?
Yeah. The university sector has changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was at university, it was sort of run on the lines of a club.
Yeah.
A London club,
Mm-hmm.
port and cigars and big meals and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And the teaching was a sort of something that you had to do, but not many of the people there were really committed to teaching, more committed to research.
Yeah.
Now, if you were able to take advantage of that, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. You could be in contact with people who were at the forefront of knowledge and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my learning independently, really.
Yeah.
I was self-motivated. But I think a lot of students would just feel lost, that they're not being given any idea of what they're supposed to
Need
do.
that guidance.
Yeah. I kind of look at it this way. I was no good at sports, and I was never given any instruction in sports.
Yeah.
Football, I was just stuck on the field, pretty well in underwear, with a howling gale. And so what do I do?
Yeah, you didn't get better.
Yeah.
People need. Yeah.
Nobody was going to send the ball to me, and the teachers there, they only cared about the ones who were good at sports. They brought them on and so on. But conversely, students who are good at academics could usually look after themselves to a large extent, and ask what help they needed. Students who weren't good at academics were just left to sink.
Yeah.
So I rather resented the sports people when I was at school, but I now realise that they were just as much at sea in the classroom as I was on the sports field.
So I guess you both had the same feelings, but just in different situations.
But nowadays at the universities, they can't afford to be so lackadaisical about the teaching.
Yeah.
Students are paying a lot of money, and not surprisingly, they're saying, we want to know what we're getting for our money. Teachers who don't turn up for classes or cut the classes down to 20 or 30 minutes, who are never there to talk about students' work, people won't stand for it anymore. And I mean, quite right.
I mean, when I was at university, I always forget how young people are. My little sister's just gone to uni again. I forget how young you are. So when I was at uni, I probably didn't have that kind of motivation that you had. But if I was at university now, I would push myself so much further than I did when I was there. So I think it's interesting, like you said, when people who don't have that kind of natural kind of prowess to push themselves or ask the questions they need to ask will just sink. But like you on the football pitch, you didn't have the natural ability, but so they didn't give you any kind of support on how to improve. In terms of kind of modern versus old with the teaching, what would you say kind of new? I don't know when was the last time you were teaching, but how has kind of teaching changed? Kind of new teaching, would you say it's kind of better, or is it more supportive, or where does it kind of fall down?
Because when I finally ended up with a job at Manchester was a different kind of university to Cambridge.
What was Manchester like compared to Cambridge?
Yeah, I think a lot of people at Manchester wish they were at Cambridge, but there wasn't the same kind of lackadaisical attitude towards the teaching. They took the teaching a lot more seriously.
At Manchester?
At Manchester,
really? Funny.
And worked harder at that. And we were expected to be as much committed to teaching as to research, which is fair enough, because that's what we've been paid to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was when you were, so you went to Cambridge, then got your own grant, you went to that college near Reading to train to be a teacher, and then...
no, I wasn't trained to be a teacher at that college at Reading, I was teaching.
Oh, you actually were teaching? Okay,
yeah.
And what were your kind of first experiences of teaching?
Yeah.
And were you teaching English?
Yeah, I was teaching English at the A-level,
okay.
And sometimes doing the English as a foreign language as well.
Okay.
And I think I hadn't realised how much you need to prepare your teaching. And I've always been, I must confess this, in some ways I'm not a good teacher.
Yeah.
I kind of go in and wing it, which could be okay. It depends on the pupils. If they're good, then that works fine. But students who need more help, I haven't really prepared myself to give it to them. And that's something that I rather regret.
Yeah. I guess you learn in anything. You learn more from your bad days than from your good days.
Yes, yeah.
What kind of teacher would you? Because then you were there, and then you went to Manchester. What kind of teacher would you say you were?
What do you mean by what kind?
Would you say? Because I remember from my school, you had teachers who were just no nonsense, no speaking, strict.
Yeah.
We had teachers who were more kind of you know, not one of the kids, but a bit.
The nice things about university is that your students are generally respectful.
Yeah, I think they're at a point now where they're taking it seriously.
They don't act up. They're not difficult to deal with. You get the odd one who doesn't turn up for class, for example, and that's a problem. You've got to chase them up.
Mm-hmm.
But I never had any problem with discipline, you might say.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And then, so you've made that move to Manchester then, where you started the Manchester...
In between, I got a job at it was then the University College of Buckingham.
Okay.
It's now the University of Buckingham.
Okay.
I don't know if you know about it.
I know about it. But.
It was founded by a bunch of Thatcherites, really.
Okay.
Right? It was supposed to be very right wing, but remember one of the visiting professors, an American, who was very right wing himself, but he made quite a shrewd point. He said, precisely because this place was set up, you know, in terms of right-wing ideals, they tended to hire a lot of left-wing staff just to kind of show that they weren't prejudiced.
Yeah,
he didn't like that. He thought.
Yeah,
he thought
it's interesting if it's funded by.
He thought we were all a bunch of leftists.
Interesting, because you think they would have right-wing kind of teachers to, you know, share their ideologies for the students who were, you know, probably studying things like politics and law, so they share the same ideologies when growing up.
Yeah, so it was built on a kind of belief in the market, that the market could supply better education than the state could. But of course you'd need, no doubt they hoped that it would spread and there'd be more Buckinghams and so on.
Yeah, well it's all trickle-down economics, isn't it?
I mean, I was grateful. I had a couple of years there, my first academic job when I needed it. And then I was kind of lucky because I finished my thesis, presented it, accepted, and one of the examiners was a fellow at Sidney Sussex College in Cambridge, and he must have liked my well, he passed it, but he also invited me to apply for a research fellowship there, which I did, and I got it.
Oh, amazing!
So it was back to Cambridge.
That's where it started.
Now I was living the Dolce Vita. As a fellow, I was eating these big fancy meals and drinking this 40-year-old port, and it did seem very weird. I suppose I was still the lower middle class oik.
I was going to say, how did you feel, especially your first time at Cambridge and now back at Cambridge again? How did you feel in terms of a class perspective? Did you feel out of place, or did you very much feel that there's the upper class and then there's everyone else?
I mean, I could see that most of my colleagues kind of thought of themselves as being higher class than they were.
Yeah.
Most of them were really middle class, but prosperous middle class.
Yeah.
But they wanted to be like gentlemen in gentlemen's clubs, you know, with their port cigars and so on.
Did you ever meet anyone famous or any royalty at Cambridge?
Sorry?
Did you meet anyone famous or any celebrities at Cambridge?
Let's see. One of the fellows in Sussex was David Owen.
Okay.
You might remember him. He was Foreign Secretary at one time.
Yeah.
Right. And who was that guy who interviewed Nixon? David Frost.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
cool
he was an ex. I never got to meet him though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most famous alumnus of Sidney Sussex was Cromwell.
Oh, really? Amazing.
I mean, we had the famous warts and all portrait.
Up on the board. Interesting. So you went back to Cambridge for the second time. So you were there again, and then was it Manchester post?
Yeah. Obviously, I'd like to have stayed at Cambridge. Although, as I say, in some ways, it was a kind of life I was never entirely comfortable with.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I dined in Hall, we were being served by waiters.
Yeah. Yeah. Who were they?
What is this? We were perfectly capable of getting our own food. But that was it, of course. You had to have the servants, and you had to have all that kind of apparatus of an upper class life. Now, I'd say I'd have liked to stay at Cambridge because it's got one of the greatest libraries in the country.
I guess you've been there for a while, so you knew it.
But I could kind of see that I was not likely to get a permanent position. I had my fellowship at Sydney, and they had an interesting kind of arrangement that you stopped getting salary increments, I think when you were 30 or 31, which was a kind of hint, because colleges, sometimes they pay the entire salary of someone, but what they want is for these people to get a university job, because then they can be members of the college, but they don't have to, the college doesn't have to pay them. So one was given very strong signals that get a university job or you don't have much of a future. And getting a university job was very difficult. The competition, as you can imagine.
A lot of people going for the same roles.
A lot of very good people in Cambridge all
I can imagine.
going for these positions. And
so you thought it was time to kind of look elsewhere, and then what made you settle on Manchester? Because I know you were, because before then you never.
I was applying for various places, and got an interview at Manchester. And when I came here, this was a time when people were feeling a certain anxiety about the future of universities. And I looked at Manchester and I thought, my God, this is a solid place. Yeah. This isn't going to disappear in a hurry.
Yeah. What kind of, when was this, sorry, what kind of time period was this?
This would be in 81.
In 81 when you moved to Manchester?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
81. But then I got the job here, moved up, and was able to put down a deposit, get a mortgage on a house. Best thing I ever did, really.
And so you moved to Manchester 81, so I guess you've been in Manchester ever since. How is it comparing Manchester what it was then? Like when you first moved to Manchester, what did it, because I know around that time it was starting to get, the music scene was starting up and coming. What was Manchester like around that time?
I was never really into the music scene. I mean, I never really cared for Oasis. No. Can I say that?
Yeah.
But yeah, Manchester, as I remember, it seems a much drabber place than it is now. Manchester now seems a lot more vibrant. Yeah. A lot more fancy places to eat, fancy places to drink, and so on.
Yeah.
Generally, just more bookshops, which is
up your street.
Yeah, and a kind of sign of a place that has some active culture. On the other hand, it's not all progress. When I come into the Manchester on the tram now, I see these huge, great high-rise buildings.
Yeah,
and I can't say I like that. It's getting too much like London.
Well, they say I think apparently one of the measures of economic growth is how many new builds or new high rises you can see. So when I was at uni, every time I was coming back, I could see every time I come back there'd be a new high rise, new high rise. But that shows the rate of economic growth in a city. So Manchester, I think for the last 10, 15 years, has been. It's because people from London, I think, the London is kind of dying down a little bit. I think people are moving to Manchester instead. So this has kind of created this other kind of growth.
I'm sceptical whether all these new buildings actually contribute much economically to Manchester. I mean, a lot of them, I think, are like the buildings in Canary Wharf in London. They're flats designed to be lived in, but no one's living in them. They're not bought by people who want to make a home there. They're built by investors, a lot of them in the Far East. And they're a good investment because value of property has tended to go up and up. So they buy them. No doubt they have to pay something to maintain them. But really they bought them as an investment. And no one's living in them.
Yeah.
When we've got a housing crisis.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, if I was dictator, I'd say, you have to let someone live in these places or we'll take them away.
Well, it's demand and supply. When people who can buy the land, and then it's less demand. Obviously, the prices. Obviously, if less supply. Obviously, they can do higher prices.
Yeah, well, that's right. A lot of these are luxury flats rather than, as they say, affordable accommodation, and. So as I say, not entirely a positive sign, I think.
Yeah.
But it swings and roundabouts. The area where I live, which is south of Withington,
Mhm.
West Didsbury they call it, but it's really South Withington.
South Withington.
Um,
South Withington to you.
by the Withington Community Hospital.
Mhm.
Burton Road along there. Now, I can remember when I first came there, we had a butcher's,
Mhm.
a greengrocer's, a newspaper shop, a charity shop, all useful, all gone.
Yeah.
They've all been
All
replaced
restaurants.
with high-end
and
restaurants
bars.
and fancy drinking places and,
Mhm.
and barbers.
Yeah. There's a lot of
In
barbers.
200 years.
You see about
I've
4
got
or
like
5.
4 barbers. I mean, what's that about?
Yeah. In terms of them with Manchester, what other ways have you seen it change where you think it's, for the worse, where actually, like you just said there, you used to have the butchers, you used to have, all these things, and now it's just kind of restaurants and barbers. What other ways have you seen kind of Manchester kind of change for the worse?
Oh. Well, that really.
Mhm.
Apart from that, I don't think I know enough about Manchester to
comment.
to say how far it's changed. It's changed for the worse.
Mhm.
It seems to be a smarter city in many ways.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have changed half for the better, like the tram system.
Mhm.
I mean, that is brilliant.
Yeah, public
So I got-
transport.
So
How
I
you
came
got
here
here?
today. Yeah.
Yeah, how you get back?
Yeah. Without that, a large city like this, trying to make your way via buses is a lot hard. You've got to change buses and
Mhm.
the rest of it. But and that's probably one of the most important things for Manchester.
Yeah.
I think Andy Burnham's absolutely right.
Mhm.
To take it under control and create a transport infrastructure that really works for the city,
Definitely.
not for private companies who
Yeah,
just wanna make some
privatise
profit.
it. And then, so back to kind of where we were with you. So we were with Manchester. You've moved to Manchester. You've become a lecturer. So that was 81, and then you were a lecturer. When were you a teacher till? Sorry, what year?
Sorry,
When were you a teacher till?
until I retired in 2005.
Okay, 2005. Okay, so that's quite a while ago. And then, so you retired then. When you first kind of retired, did you have kind of a list of things you wanted to do, or what was next?
Yeah, I had some thought of continuing my research,
Yeah.
but in the end, I took the easy way out. But I was now able to travel a lot more,
Okay.
which is what I do, mostly now.
Mhm.
So I kind of felt that my academic career was behind me when I retired.
Yeah. Well, you've done it for quite a while.
Yeah, and I mean, I continue to be interested in things, but now, when you're teaching,
Mhm.
it's always, what do I have to read for the next lecture? What do I have to read for this research that I'm committed to?
Mhm.
And there are lots of books. I'd like to read that. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Now I've got time.
Now you've got time on your hands.
to read what I
So,
want.
so 2005 you retired, and you're more with the aspect of kind of travelling, where, so for the past kind of 20 years, I guess, well, 20 years actually has been. Yeah, I've just said that.
It surprises me. I think, God,
Yeah,
I've been
God,
retired for
20 years.
20 years.
Where's been kind of the places you've been? Any kind of favourites? Any places that was, any like fond memories of places you've been?
Yeah. Up until about 4 years ago,
Mhm.
I had a partner.
Okay.
She actually lived near Leeds,
Mhm.
and I used to go out at weekends and so on.
Mhm.
But we used to travel together.
Oh, amazing.
And before he died, with her father as well.
Mhm.
And mainly what we'd do was maybe once a year we'd be able to get together and go on a cruise.
Okay.
So that was okay. If it's quite restful at being at sea,
Mhm.
and you do get to see some interesting places.
Mhm.
But you only get to see them for a few hours.
Mhm.
They dock,
Yeah.
you rush off,
You're to the sea.
rush back, and
Mhm.
the ship's off. So it was nice when I retired. I was able now to, Tricia and I were able to visit places that we hadn't done before.
Mhm.
Started river cruising,
Oh, nice.
which is very restful,
Mhm.
and you spend more time at places, and you're kind of you see more of the countryside.
Mhm.
You just sit there in the countryside.
Yeah, travel
Road
through.
goes past you.
Back to then, you said you had a partner that you used to go travelling with, because most of this kind of kind of story we've been with you here since your kind of mum and sister went to Spain. It kind of seems that you've been a lot on your own for a lot of it, which seems to have been going well for you. You know, you've kind of going from strength to strength, but then you've not really, spoken about partner or having someone. So that partner, how did you meet them?
Sorry,
how did you meet your partner that you still were travelling with?
Oh, right. Well, I've known her since I was first at Cambridge.
Oh, okay. So
she was married to how to put it? She's married to another student in my college.
Yeah.
And we were sort of part of a circle. We played bridge.
Yeah.
We're very close. And I've lost touch a bit. I mean, I'd go and perhaps see them occasionally, visit and so on. But then the husband, he had a kind of early midlife crisis.
Okay.
He suddenly decided he was in love with a girl who just happened to be one of his students.
Okay.
I mean, doesn't this all sound tediously familiar?
Yeah.
So their marriage broke up. I think the problem was that he was a very charismatic guy, this.
Yeah.
Women tended to really admire him, and it might be that Trisha admired him enormously when they first got married, but as she got to know him better, not quite so admiring, not quite so uncritical, not quite so assuming that everything about him was wonderful. Whereas this new love of his life, who being his student, he was still fresh to her.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, he probably didn't realise it, but what motivated him was a desire to renew that uncritical admiration that he got. But anyway, that left Trisha on her own. I think she was...
Yeah, so you knew each other from uni. She obviously had a different husband at the time, then they've separated. How did you kind of come back into contact? And when was this as well?
Yeah, she ended up in Leeds, or actually in Leeds at the time, because her husband had been involved in some kind of educational study that involved them moving up there. And she got a job at a school there and actually became head of science there. I mean, she was a very successful teacher. Very smart lady. I mean, she'd been to university as well, went to London University. And I'd visit her occasionally. And then after a while, we became partners.
Yeah. So when was this when you became partners?
Ooh. I'd find it very hard to date it.
Date it?
Yeah. I mean, the first few years when I was at Manchester, I was quite busy just trying to master the job, the teaching.
Yeah. Okay, so when you got together, it was still kind of 80s, 90s. This was before you had retired.
Yeah.
And then did you kind of retire together, or did you retire together, or?
No. So she had her place, I had my place.
Okay, so you were together, but she was still living in Leeds and you were still living in Manchester. Okay, I guess that's... and then you used to... When you kind of started your relationship then, what were you kind of your favourite things about her and about your relationship?
We had a lot of the same tastes, like the same television, movies and so on. I think she was quite impressed by how much I knew, and I liked that. You know, that was,
you could show off a bit.
Yeah. So in a way, I don't think she was ever as uncritical about me as she was about her husband.
Yeah.
And quite rightly. I mean, nobody should expect to be seen as perfect. I think that was Chris's mistake, that he couldn't accept that.
Yeah.
Maybe he was living with someone who occasionally was having some sceptical, critical thoughts about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms then, because now we're kind of, so you've met her, kind of relationship with her. She's kind of, you've got these shared, interests. You've been, big academics, both teachers. You've got all this kind of time together. you live in different cities, which I find quite interesting, because normally you think partners live together, but I guess it kind of works for you. In terms of your kind of relationship, do you have any kind of regrets, or in terms of your life, do you have any kind of things that you still kind of regret not doing, or?
Do you mean generally in my life?
Do you generally, or with your relationship?
I think the main thing I regret is that I've been so lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I could have achieved more.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, does achieving things always make you happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be that I don't really have that kind of drive, dynamism. When I was at university, they used to periodically ask us, they used to assess us, and they'd ask you questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Mm-hmm.
I'd go, I don't know. So I'm much more sit there and wait to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Let it come to me, and
Let
then
nature take its
I'll
course.
deal with it, rather than having an ambition to do something.
Mm-hmm. And what's also interesting me to see, because, you know, what do you plan to do next in the future? Is there anything that you've not done that's like, that's what I want to do, that's what I look into? I know you seem to have all these things, you've got your reading, you've got your travelling. Is there anything that's still on the to-do list?
Yeah, it's mainly places I'd like to travel to.
Yeah.
Never been to Machu Picchu.
Okay.
Mind you, I mean, apparently it's very hard to breathe up there, so I don't really like heights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's mainly, most of my travelling has been in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been kind of thinking about going farther afield.
Mm-hmm.
This year I was in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
chasing down the big game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
As the people in Cambridge would have said it.
yeah. And next year I'm going to India.
Okay, amazing.
So yeah, it's mainly travelling, but now farther afield.
Mm-hmm. And then just to kind of, you know, get to the end. So you had your partner. So your partner passed away, if that's correct.
Yeah.
And that was, how long ago was that?
That was in 21.
Oh, okay.
So just past the 4-year.
And how was that kind of adapting to life without them? Was it kind of big change?
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't the first person in my life to die.
Mm-hmm.
My mother died. Well, my mother died,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Some water.
yeah, even
I'm
worse.
stuck on that.
My sister and brother-in-law
Mm-hmm.
were in a car accident, and they were both killed.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a kind of glum sense that
Yeah.
everyone's checking out, and I'm left behind. But
It still feels like you're doing, though, you know, I think a lot of people would take it the wrong way, where they've obviously had this kind of, you know, trauma, and they've kind of shut down. You're still going travelling, you're still doing the things you enjoy doing,
yeah.
which is, you know, the
I
right thing.
sometimes think I wish Tricia was here to see this. She'd really like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And in terms then, as a kind of last kind of question, if you've kind of got one kind of bit of advice for people in kind of, you know, let's say if you were looking at yourself at a younger perspective, you know, maybe you're just going to Cambridge, what would you kind of say to yourself, or say to others and be like, this is my advice to you?
Don't always be totally committed to your own opinion about things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be willful.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've had good advice that I've not followed because I knew better.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't, so there's that. And look after your teeth.
Well, good.
That's one of the things.
Two main things. Keep open.
One
and
of
look
the
after
things
your
I
teeth.
regret, that I was too lazy to brush my teeth properly.
Yeah.
And now I've got hardly any left.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, that was kind of everything from today. So I really appreciate you coming down. So thank you for your time. I think we covered.
It was a pleasure. I mean, I like
Maybe
those
get
people.
you
I
back.
like to talk about myself.
we'll get you back again then. But anyway, thank you for today, Paul. You are a real person, and hopefully we'll get to chat again soon.
Thank you.